Hello, okay, this is Mr. Eldridge here. I'm gonna do you a quick tutorial of how to put your presentation together in Animaker. So obviously you're gonna type in www.animaker.com and you're gonna log in using your username and password, create one. If not, use your Google account. That's what I did. So basically these are some presentations that I already kind of practiced putting together. So let's take a look at this one. Now, I'm also going to go back and show you how to put it together step by step, but I want to show you the end result because you're usually supposed to start with the end in mind. Remember that your presentation should have 8 slides. That first one is going to be introductory. Slides 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are going to cover the topics that have been assigned by your teacher. Slide 7 will be a conclusion. Basically, you're supposed to be speaking from the perspective of if you think these things were good or bad for women in the 1920s and how it affected American women in general. So slide 7 is going to be your conclusion, where you're basically trying to convince the audience based on the presentation that you've given. And then slide 8 will be your references. All of those are very, very important, and you need to make sure that you follow the guidelines that have been given to you by your instructor in order to make sure that you get a good grade. Now, as you see, this slide has a title, has a essential question or body, and then it has, my class and who I should have my name as well. So let me go ahead and add that. Mr. E. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna just go ahead and let you hear what it sounds like. And this should be what your finished slide, what your finished presentation kind of looks like. Hello, my name is Mr. Eldridge. I'm here to give you a presentation about the Roaring Twenties and whether or not that era of time was beneficial or not for women in America. I am doing this for my social studies class, and I'm hoping that you will get something great out of this, and I hope that you really learn something. I'm currently a junior here at Reginald F. Lewis High School, and this is my second time taking a history course. I took world history, but now I'm taking United States history, and I'm very, very excited about the things that I've learned so far. I'm hoping that throughout this presentation, you'll be able to gain some new knowledge about women in the 1920s and about American history in general. Now that I've given you my introduction, let's go ahead and get started with the presentation. Have a good one. Boom. Okay, so that's just an example of what your introductory slide should kind of look like, right? So now you're going to do that same thing for each slide. Whether it's information, you're just going to add the information that you're using to support your claim of if you think the women's suffrage movement was good for women of the 1920s, then this portion would be women's that information, and then you would have your quotes or supporting information that you've gotten from the text. So as you can see, this next slide kind of starts that. Women gaining. Now, I made this up. This is not a real quote from Margaret Sanger. I was just showing, all right, so same thing. Women gaining rights to vote from Margaret Sanger. Margaret Sanger saying women gaining the right to vote gave them more choice and autonomy. So basically, I would go and I'm going to show you how to record your voiceover. Then I would record a voiceover where I'm kind of explaining what these quotes or what this information is and why I chose this information to support my assertions. If I was saying if it was good for women or bad for women, that's where I would do that right here. So you're going to post the information and then you're going to also speak. So this is an example of how I'll put together my first slide, and then this is my introductory slide. Now I'm going to show you from the beginning how you would do all of this stuff. So let's go to create new video, and it's not going to take long. I'm going to try to do this in less than 5 minutes, so bear with me. Okay, so this side kind of has everything that you need right here. You're just going to follow this template, or not even template. You're just going to follow it step by step. Don't skip any of them and until you realize if you actually need it or not. All right, so we're on scene 1. Now, all of your scenes should be about a minute. So in order to add time to your scene, you're going to go down here where it says time and click the plus button. Or you can't do it from here. You just click the plus button, okay, until you get up to a minute. There we go. So then when you're ready to add scene number 2, you hit scene number 2. So let's go to overall timeline. Now you can see that scene number 1 is a minute. Scene number 2 is only 10 seconds. So if you want to extend scene number 2, you're just going to drag your cursor And that can actually help you make it longer if you want to add more time to scene number 2. Or you can just do it the same way that we just did, where you're on scene number 2 now, and you click and you just add time to it. And as you see, these seconds are going to go up. That's how you know that you're actually adding time to that scene. Now you're going to have 8 scenes, so your presentation should be somewhere between 7 and 8 minutes, depending on how long each one of your scenes is. It should be about 40 seconds to a minute for each one. All right, so let's start here. So as you see, it starts with our character. So I'm starting with a blank template because I think that's just best and easiest. So let's start with this gentleman right here. As you can see, he already has some animation going. All right, so we don't need any property, but I'm gonna click it just to show you. We don't need any of that stuff. Skip it. Now, as I showed you, you're gonna add some text. So my text is gonna be women in the 1920s. That's my title. Okay. Now, subheading, I might add an essential question. Was the period between 1920 and 1930 beneficial for women in America? Okay. So now I'm going to make this smaller to fit in what I got going on here. And so you make your own design choices. I'm not going to tell you how to design your program. How to design your presentation. That's up to you and your group members. But I'm just giving you how you would do it. All right. So add a little bit of body text. Now, remember, this is where you're going to say, my name is Mr. Eldridge. I'm in Miss Purdy's class. I am, this class is social study. Well, I said it was U.S. History, because that's what you take in high school, not social studies. And today's date is August 6th, 2024. Okay? So some variation of that type of information is what you want to have on your first slide. And I've already given you an example of the type of information that you should speak about when you're introducing when you're introducing your presentation. Okay, so now we got some words on our slide. Now let's go to background. Now you see here we have all types of different backgrounds. I'm going to choose this one because in the last one I actually had a background that was generated by my that I used this right here. I used the artificial intelligence to generate that background that you saw with the woman. So you can try that, and you can just type in generate, and then you'll type whatever it is that you want to see, and whatever type of background you want, then you hit generate background, and it'll come up. And if it doesn't, then don't worry about it. Usually it works, but sometimes it acts a little bit wonky. So right now I'm just gonna go with this basic background, because that's probably what most of you will do. Now, when it comes to images, I don't know if there's actually a section in your rubric where you have to add images, but you should. You should be using some visual images to add more creativity and just make your presentation look more authentic. So if you want to upload images, you see this little cloud with the arrow pointing up. That's how you upload things. So as I told you already, these are some images that I generated through artificial intelligence. So let's pop her right there. We're going to put her right here. She looks like she could, and she looks like a woman from the 1920s. She's wearing the right dress. She has that looks like a camera that would have been used at about that time. So basically this just adds authenticity and shows your teacher that you're actually invested in trying to make your presentation look as authentic and as as real and as good as possible. I'm telling you, adding some art in there from the period will only help your teacher to realize that you actually spent a lot of time researching it. So look up some art from the 1920s, look up some pictures from some women voting at voting booths or in hospitals, talking to doctors, all that kind of stuff. And that's how you will make your presentation that much better. Okay, so now that we have some images, we don't have any videos. You can add videos if that's what you want to do, but I'm not adding any videos. But if I was, I would go here. And if I had a video over here that I wanted to do, I would drag it to this point, and that's where you can upload the videos. And the same way with the pictures, you upload them and then you can drop them onto your slide. If you've ever used PowerPoint before, it's very much so like PowerPoint. very similar to PowerPoint, except for you have animation and other fun stuff that you can do with this one. All right, now that we have our video, now we have our information, we have some images, we have our character and some words. Now we're gonna go to music. Now, music is important. You're gonna have to add music to your presentation. That's gonna be one of the things that you get graded on. So go ahead, hit this up button. I've already curated about 50 different songs from the 1920s for you to use. Now, make sure that you're using songs that correspond to the event that you're talking about. So if it's like something like the stock market crash, that's a really sad thing. So you should be using music that's melancholy or very anxious or things that don't sound happy. You wouldn't use like the entertainer for a stock market crash. That would be weird. But for your introductory slide, it should be something upbeat, jovial. And if you notice, based on the names of the songs, if it's a blues song, if it says such and such blues, it might be sad. If it says such and such rag or such and such jig, that's a dance song. So those songs are usually more upbeat. So I want you to use your skills and your musicology skills to kind of figure out what the song might be about just based on the title and based on the type of song that it is. So I'm going to go ahead and add this one. Now this one sounds kind of. I don't want that one either. Voting. Okay, let's just go with this one. We hit the click. So we click it. Now, once we click it, it just pops right into our field. Now, you're going to slide that over. And if you want to make this whole thing smaller, you just hit that. That's your timeline zoom. You can make it bigger or smaller depending on your needs, right? So I actually only want this music to play for the first scene, not the second scene. Now, my second scene, I'm going to add a different song. So I'm going to go ahead and click this. I might be wrong. And then I'm going to slide it over until it's on my second scene. Okay, now let's do this. You can either slide it physically or you can do that. That will give you your time that you need. So then, boom, there we go. So now I can actually add this so that I only have 2 lines. Now for my second scene, my information would be about women's suffrage or about the temperance movement or about you probably should do the stock market crash last because that's like the last thing that happened in the 1920s. It was in 1929, so save that one for your last slide. But the other ones, you can kind of do whichever one you want, and basically you're going to say if this was good or bad, and you are going to represent that information on the slide. But remember, each different slide should have its own music that represents what it is that you're trying to convey. Now, they're not going to let me do my voiceover because I'm actually using my microphone to record the screencast. But when you get ready to do your voiceover, this is how you're going to do it. Okay? So now that you have your music, you have your information. Now, the only thing that you need is your voiceover. So you're going to go here. You're going to click on your character. And then you're going to go up here to this button that says lip sync. Click on lip sync. Then you're going to click record voice. And when you're ready, you're going to hit this button right here and you're going to record your voice saying whatever it is that you want to say. Now, you already heard what I said, and I'm going to actually use the recording that I already used to add my voice over here because it won't allow me to record a new one. So this is my slide 1 voiceover. Let's try a different one.
Hello, my name is Mr. Eldridge.
All right, so I'm going to hit, and it's going to add that. So now you see the slide 1 voiceover, but I only want it on slide 1. I don't want it on slide 2. So I'm going to slide over to slide 1, and now you're going to have to do a little bit of mixing. So usually your music is going to be too loud. So you're going to hit this little button right here with the 3 dots, and you're going to turn the music down a little bit. Now, you could probably, my voice was also really loud, so I'm going to turn that down a little bit too. And now I'm going to preview it just so I can see what it sounds like, if my music and my slides and everything is working together.
Hello, my name is Mr. Eldridge. I'm here to give you a presentation about the Roaring 20s and whether or not that era.
Okay, and boom, now I know it works. So now when you're working with your group members, you want to share the presentation so that you can all work on it at the same time. You don't want to basically be like passing around a laptop. It's 2024. Everybody can do their work on their own device. So you're going to share all of your, share the presentation with all of your group members, and make sure you click Can Edit so they can all edit it themselves. If you click Can View, they'll only be able to see it. They won't be able to actually do anything. So that's how you share it with your group members. Now, the most important part, after you have 8 slides, introduction, 5 body slides, conclusion, and your references or works cited page, 8 slides, around 40 seconds to a minute each, with all of your explanations, you're giving your perspective, and you're trying to convince the audience that one side or the other is the right one. Now, after you have all of that done, you're going to go here and click Publish. Now, publish, this is the last part of, basically this is where you bring everything together. Now, in this video, it should be about 8 minutes. Now, if you go to download video, you can only actually download videos up to 2 minutes. So because I made this one 2 slides, it will allow me to download it. But if you make your video 7 to 8 minutes, you're not going to be able to download it. But I'm going to show you a way that you don't even really need to be able to. So you can title it whatever you want to if you're going to download the 2-minute portion, but you don't really need to be able to download it. I'm just going to show you what you're going to do. So after you've already put your presentation together, everything you need is already right here. You're going to go here and go to full screen. You're going to actually do your presentation from this window. So you're not going to download it. You're not going to export it. You're going to do your presentation from this window. And so this is going to give you all the time that you need and going to show your whole presentation. And then you just hit play.
Hello, my name is Mr. Eldridge. I'm here to give you a presentation about the Roaring 20s.
And that's that. And that's what you're going to do. Remember, each slide should contain information, contain music that is appropriate for it, and a voiceover explaining what it is that you are talking about on that slide. If you have any questions, be sure to refer back to this video, ask your teacher. We've given you guys plenty of materials and resources in order to be able to do this lesson effectively. Good luck, and I hope that your presentation timeline comes out really, really well. Peace.